And Dr. Levatino, I obviously was moved significantly by your testimony. And I think one of the great challenges that we have as human beings, we always seem to have as one of our greatest talents the ability to blind ourselves to a truth that we don't want to face. I know that's certainly true many times in my own life. And yet, in this place, that should be something that we war against with all assiduous diligence, because the implications are pretty profound. And one of the things that this bill does, and the discussion of it, seems to demonstrate the humanity of these little babies and the gross inhumanity of what is done to them. And I applaud your courage to come here as not only a former lawyer, but as someone that has performed abortions earlier. There's very few ways to try to impeach your sincerity, your credibility, when you have gone 180 degrees here as you've done, and I appreciate what you've done. So my first question is to you. The Criminal Code of the District of Columbia, Section 221001, prohibits cruelty to animals. And with unanimous consent, I will enter a copy of this statute for the record. This statute explicitly covers, quote, all living and sentient creatures, human beings excepted, if a prosecutor can prove, quote, serious bodily injury, or if a prosecutor can prove, quote, to an animal or indifference to animal life, that a single offense can be punished by up to 5 years in prison, or a fine not to exceed $25,000 or both. Now, serious bodily injury includes, among other things, the infliction of, quote, extreme physical pain or mutilation or broken bones or severe lacerations. Now, I heard your vivid description of the D&E abortion method, which I'm told is the most frequent method used for abortion after 20 weeks, and it seems clear that it follows this description of mutilating, breaking bones, lacerating, and worse, and we've heard very convincing evidence that it would inflict, quote, extreme physical pain. Now, that fits all the criteria, and I find it a tremendous, I don't even want to use the word irony, just a break from human compassion that while we would do the right thing and prevent those things from happening to children, but to animals, but not to human babies. And I'm just wondering if you think that my equating the two has any parallel, and how you would respond to it yourself.
Not at all, Mr. Chairman. The abortion debate is obviously a very uncomfortable topic for many. It's a very hot political topic. There are very strong feelings on both sides. I've been on both sides of this issue. I do understand both sides. It's a tremendous irony, the word seems inadequate, that, as you say, feed animals get more consideration than unborn humans. Even as an abortionist, when I learned to do D&E abortions, I have to tell you the only word I can express, even as an experienced physician for many years at that point, was in doing a D&E abortion is absolutely gut-wrenching for the physician. It's easier on the patient, for sure. And that was one of the advantages of the procedure. We wanted a procedure like D&C, where a patient would basically go to sleep, wake up, and it would all be over. And it certainly was better from the standpoint of the patient. From that standpoint, it's one of the strengths of the procedures, one of the reasons we do them. But to literally tear a human being apart with your own hands, I would invite the committee to handle this instrument. This is the identical instrument I used. Is an absolutely gut-wrenching procedure. And I agree with you. It's, to me, unconscionable that, as you say, we give more consideration to feed animals than we do to human beings.
Well, Dr. Levatino, you know, in responding to earlier comment that this is unconstitutional, the courts have stated that states have an interest in forbidding medical procedures in which the state's reasonable determination might cause the medical profession or society as a whole to become insensitive or even disdainful to life, including life in the human fetus. A state may take measures to ensure the medical profession and its members are viewed as healers, sustained by a compassionate and rigorous ethic and cognizant of the dignity and value of each human life, even life which cannot survive without the assistance of others. That seems to describe what we're trying to accomplish here. Do you think, in your mind, that doing late-term abortions can create the impression that causing the medical, or create the trend in the medical profession or society as a whole to become insensitive and even disdainful of life, including life in the human fetus. What's your perspective?
I would completely agree with that. As a physician, I used to teach students, and I used to tell them, you learn to maintain a certain distance between you and your patients. I think that you start learning at a day one in anatomy class, where you're literally taking apart a human body, and you don't think of it as, you see it as a collection of organs, and you don't see this as somebody's son or daughter or husband or wife. And it was the same way, as I said, the procedures are very gut-wrenching, but I guess you can get used to anything over time. I do agree that there is a great insensitivity toward life. It's become an ingrained part of our culture, and this simply adds to that.